I told you, and you told me that I was just fear mongering because there's still faithful people in the administrative state. You said that even on the other side, there will be people who will uphold the Constitution, except in a totalitarianism, these people resign. And that is how many people resign. 6 people after being told to dismiss the criminal indictment against Eric Adams. But eventually, someone did. Someone did, and they sacrificed the Constitution for what? So that their people in the public integrity section don't get fired. And I apologize because I did a Blue Sky post talking about how we should send support to our federal workers. However, it seems that our federal workers aren't above putting the Constitution under the trash just to protect their jobs. And this is how a totalitarian regime works. Totalitarianism is a political system and a form of government that prohibits opposition from political parties. So this is MAGA purging all of his opponents in the government, such as those who investigated January 6th, so that he can input loyalist. Disregards and outlaws the political claims of individual and group opposition to the state and completely controls the public sphere and the private sphere of society. In the field of political science, totalitarianism is an extreme form of authoritarianism. So we are experiencing an extreme form of authoritarianism wherein all social political power is held by a dictator. That is him, right? Who also controls the national politics and the peoples of the nation with continual propaganda campaigns that are broadcast by state-controlled and by friendly private mass communications media. They're literally saying it out loud. Adams gets federal corruption charges dropped not because there isn't overwhelming evidence, but because he agrees to help Homan round up migrants, and Homan says the charges will be refiled if Adams doesn't come through. Look at them smiling. And it's unfortunate because I know why the Democratic Party is upholding this facade that the Constitution and our systems are working. And I believe that in not objecting to the certification results and in not positioning Amendment 14, Section 3, they did that in order to lie to us and maintaining the reality that our institutions and our branches are actually working when they're not. They decided to put good faith that the branches will correct themselves in a way. They wanted trickle down politics to work, but it didn't. It hasn't. And we're seeing it in live time. You know, the DOJ individuals who will have an oath to the Constitution will resign, and that will be implemented by loyalists or people who are scared to lose their jobs or are scared to for their colleagues to lose their jobs will sacrifice the Constitution for their own personal benefit, which is what the Democratic Party has done, given the reality that if they have gotten threats and they are now silent because of it, it's because they position their own lives over the lives of over 340 million Americans. And look here, the DOJ leadership literally put all public integrity section lawyers into a room in 1 hour to decide who will dismiss Adams' indictment or else all will be fired. This is a quid pro quo. It's a favor or advantage granted or expected in return for something. So in order for you to not get fired, you have to dismiss these charges, right? And you're gonna be like, oh, the courts are gonna take care of it. Are they though? Are they? And if so, it's eventually going to get appealed to the reality where it's going to land under a court to where they're going to give them their side, right? And what I want you to realize in this video is that all the branches are the safeguards that we can have failed and are failing, because all of those who have an oath to the Constitution and our agencies at the forefront, if they have honor, they will be resigning, and that will be put with loyalists who will adhere. And by the time Democrats get something done in 4 years, they're going to have loyalists within the system who are already in commitment to him versus the Constitution, because that's what they allowed. And it's the same point to this. J.D. Vance just met with Germany's far-right AfD party leader at the Munich Security Conference. By doing this, Vance hands legitimacy to a party with deep ties to neo-Nazis. And that's exactly what the Democratic Party has done, and giving legitimacy to an illegitimate regime that literally, where the head literally participated in election interference, according to a Department of Justice literal report that positions that he interfered in the 2021 certification for the 2020 results. That means that he should not be our notice, yet he's here. And we're surprised why he's going against the Constitution. Maybe because we allowed him to go against the Constitution. Maybe because we allowed for him to have quid pro quos. Now they're doing it in public. The only reality where this changes is where we take the steering wheel and say we're not going to accept this, because this regime will only last as long as we allow for it to last. And they want to make you believe that we'll be fine in 4 years, it'll be different. No, in 4 years, that's when Mustache Man put in his final solution. That's when he actually delve into the anti-Semitism, right? By that time, there's already a lot of propaganda and people are already committed to the actual ideology or are scared, so aren't going to go against the regime. As we saw, this public integrity section lawyer literally sacrificed the Constitution for their jobs. For their jobs. There's federal workers who are sacrificing our Constitution to keep their jobs. In this reality, no branch, even our federal agencies, are going to save us. And I guess the last kind of ditch is the courts. However, we know how that's going to go. And the question becomes, I mean, we know it's going to happen. It's just a question of, will it be sometime soon? Or will we have to keep fighting for decades to come? Will there be some of us who won't even see what true freedom is ever again in our lifetime? Are we just going to allow to exist in this tyranny? And the Democratic Party doesn't make it any easier. I feel like I'm in the Twin Towers and I'm telling everyone, hey, we got to get out of the building. And then Democrat leadership is on the speaker saying, no, you stay in your office. And you know what happened to the people who stayed in their office? They didn't make it. So I hope you are tired of getting lied to by the Democratic Party, because at this point, it's easier for you to start mourning the America that we knew and finally accept that either we're going to live in a new America in which there is tyranny, or we're going to reclaim the America that was being stolen from this regime and reform it and reset it and create it anew so that we can actually protect it from this ever happening again.